I hit record on the podcast. It's now recording. It's going to hear all your shame. All of your shame and disgustingness, you freak. You gross man.
You slut.
You slut. There is nothing funnier to me than calling a dude a slut, especially one who does not, like, actively engage in relationships that much at all. I don't know. It just always gets me. It just tickles my funny bone, you know?
If you had one, that is.
Oh, what do you... Are you... I don't... What are you implying?
You're not a funny person.
Oh, I thought you were calling me a woman.
Women have funny bones too, you do know this.
It's called the pubic bone, David. Learn the lore.
The public bone?
No, it's actually the not so public bone. It's quite kept under wraps. They're not in the business of showing it off too often.
Then why do they call it the public bone?
No, they don't call it that. That's just you being illiterate.
Who you calling illiterate community college boy?
Damn, that cut deep. I don't have an argument for that shit.
Okay, so before you can get a comeback for the sick burn I just sicked upon you, I have a rant, okay? And I've been waiting all week to do this, and I'm not going to let you stop me even if you want to, okay?
I wasn't going to stop you, nor did I have a comeback for said sick burn. I'm just kind of existing over here. I don't know what you're expecting from me, man.
So, my rant is this.
I'm not interested.
I'm going to rant. What?
I'm not interested in conflict. I like peace.
I'm not going to rant about you.
Oh, okay. All right. Well.
So here's my rant. Cool. Whoever thought that reclining chairs in movie theaters and reserved seating was a good idea needs to be fired. Worse than that, executed. It is a terrible idea. I hate it. I hate it. I hate it. I hate it.
Well, tell us what you really think.
Okay, so here's my number one pet peeve with reclining seats. So
is that you keep bumping the button with your elbow and it makes a loud noise in the middle of the movie and you're like super embarrassed and you're like, ah shit, I gotta fix my chair now.
Yeah, you basically hit it on the nail on the head there, because you see
that happened
these
like
big
8 times when we watched Black Panther.
These big like reclining seats are designed for people with big fat American butts, which are about twice as wide as you or I. So in order to be comfortable in such a generously sized chair, you need to like curl up. And that's what I do. I curl up. And then when you do, you always knock the buttons, because the buttons aren't placed where a logical person would put them, on top of the armrests.
They're put like right next to where your thighs would be.
They're put right next to your thigh.
So if you're a small person, your elbows or your feet or your knees or whatever, like if you try to curl up in any way,
you're adjusting yourself to get comfortable again, and then you hit it again. It's so annoying. It drives me absolutely nuts.
Like, it's not the loudest thing in the world, but it's still enough that it makes people turn their heads to look at what that noise was in the middle of the movie. And, like, my social anxiety is bad enough that I accidentally made my chair not recline as much. Like, I bumped it so it went down, and it wasn't as comfortable. So I had this serious dilemma in the middle of watching Black Panther where it was like, should I fix it? Like, should I put it back the way it was?
Couldn't they fix it by adding a button, like a little lock button that just locks it in place? You know,
I think stupid people would like forget that exists and then be like, "Why doesn't the chair work? It's a piece of garbage."
That's true.
Even though there's a giant button with a lock logo on it that says, "Make chair not move much good," and they'd be like,
and then that's
too complicated.
So that's my first rant about reclining reserved seating. My second rant is, why do we need reserved seating in the movie theater? This isn't the opera, okay?
Okay, yeah, so...
there's so many... It's like...
You're also mad about that thing that happened, right?
I'm not mad about that. I'm just mad about the concept of reserved seating, because basically some random jackass can buy tickets off of Fandango and show up 20 minutes after the movie's started, bustling in with a giant thing of popcorn, and just because he bought it 2 weeks in advance, he gets to sit down right in the middle of the whole movie theater and disturb everybody else.
And make a huge scene out of it if someone sits where they were planning to sit.
Yeah, so it works so much better if there's first come, first serve, because if you show up late, you pick up whatever's left.
That's
you pick up whatever's left. That's perfectly fine.
Okay,
first come, first serve. I love it.
The theater by my house that we always go to whenever we see stuff together just barely switched it up. Like, the last time I went there was when it had all these new changes. It wasn't like this the time before that when I saw Disaster Artist.
It was like that when we saw Disaster Artist.
No, was there...
It was.
And
there were reclining chairs.
What about the reserved seats? Or no,
they
I'm
had
thinking
that
of the time before that. But
they had that too.
It was super recent. Like, it wasn't like that.
In the past year, my movie theater by my house, even though it's a different company, yours is like the Chinese one, and mine is the not Chinese one.
Yeah. Okay, so it only just recently switched up to this system of the reserved seating, and
it's so terrible.
I still wasn't quite like into that mindset yet. So when we walked in to see Black Panther, we just went to the two best seats we could find because we showed up super early, right? It's how it always is. You show up 40 minutes before the movie starts. You have plenty of time to get snacks and drinks.
You get the seats you want.
You get the seats you want.
It works fine.
And right as the movie was starting, these two jackasses, guys that were our age, I think maybe even a little younger, showed up and were like, "Hey dude, is this row G seat 7?" And we're like, I don't know. I didn't fucking look. Is it labeled? He's and then he was like, "Yeah, that's our seat, bro. Could you move?" So rather than have an argument about it, we just got up and went to the seat behind it. And neither of us were really happy about it. I think you didn't care quite as much as I did. I was pissed. I wanted to have an argument.
I've just gotten used to it at this point because my theater upgraded our seats before the one near your house did. So I'm more used to it, but I still hate it. And the other thing that I don't like about it that makes it more annoying is that it doubles the time that you're by the cashier buying your ticket.
Yeah.
Because you have to say "Oh, do you want to pick your seats?" And then some little old lady will be looking at those seats for 5 minutes. You know that's going to happen, and it's going to piss off whoever's working at the desk to no end.
Yeah, it's especially annoying. The worst scenario is when you get there and all the worst seats are the only ones that are open. All the good ones are taken, and you're just which shitty seat do I take right now? And you're having to seriously consider it. It's your viewing experience is now going to suck. But you have to figure out the degree you want it to suck. And now everyone's staring at you, wanting you to make this decision in a split second. And you're like, do I want to sit in the very bottom right corner, with looking up at a weird fucked up angle so I can't tell what's happening? Or do I want to be scrunched up between the staircase? Ugh.
Yeah, and then of course, it'd be a lot easier if you just had a fixed number of seats per screening and you just sell them and then they pick them themselves. It's a lot less arguments and contentious. It's just, can you believe that this is what people thought? What the movie theater owners thought would bring people back into the movie theaters? Of all of the things that they could have fixed to make it a better viewing experience, I didn't think that seats that you can recline a really shitty lazy boy was one of them.
It's supposed to be this magic, awesome experience that makes cinema, amazing. And I feel like I've just lost all my love for it just because it's such a pain in the ass now to go to a theater.
Here's the things that they need to fix to make movie going more pleasant. Number one, cheaper concessions.
Cheaper everything. Movie tickets are so shockingly and upsettingly expensive.
Number two, clean theater. Number
It's never
three,
clean.
having actual, like, enforcement of the rules of don't be a jackass when the movie's playing.
Yeah, so, when there are people on their cell phones, have someone available to actually put a stop to that. Because, if you get out of your seat and go looking for someone to complain to, you're not going to find anyone. There's this myth that there's a guy with, one of those plastic lightsaber things that'll walk around like an usher and be like, "Excuse me, sir, could you step out of the theater for a moment?" That doesn't exist. That's not a real thing. That's fictional. That's like someone's mouth being covered by a single strip of duct tape. That happens in movies and not in real life. Ugh.
So I'm glad to see you share this rant with me.
I would be fine if they just stopped having movie theaters be a thing, because movie
I
theater
don't think so.
companies are
I disagree.
shitty.
I disagree. I think that the
I just
industry
set up
is
one
terrible.
in my basement or something.
Stuff like Alamo Drafthouse is really shaking it up and making it a little bit better. But I think that I like here, put it this way. I like the idea and the format of the movie theater. I just don't like the way it's executed. I don't think that it's as fun watching a movie on your computer or on your TV, but I will admit it's less expensive and it's less annoying.
Yeah. I mean, it's not as, theatrical or cinematic. You don't... You know what? I'll admit that watching Blade Runner 2049 in the theater was, one of the most amazing experiences ever, just because...
I don't care about whether it's a big screen or whether it's an amazing cinematic experience. Let's be honest, 90% of movies can be watched on an HD 4K TV and nobody can tell the difference. But here's the thing. There's something to be said about being put into a dark room for 2 hours where you're not supposed to pull out your phone and you're not supposed... You can't just turn it off and do something else and you just watch a movie undisturbed. I kind of like that.
I like the idea of theaters, but the thing that actually, physically exists, I don't like.
That's what I was just saying.
Yeah, I know. I'm just I'm rephrasing it in a more simple way.
I literally said I like the idea of a theater, but not in execution. A minute ago.
Oh.
Were you not listening? Do you listen to anything I say?
I may have gotten up to go let my cat out of the room.
You are a terrible human being.
I kind of came in at the tail end of the sentence and then tried to seem like I knew it. Fuck you.
Top 10 anime betrayals.
So anyway, I'm working on that Hulk Ultimate Destruction review.
Who needs that anyway? What does it ultimately destruct?
It ultimately destructs my patience because it's fucking hard. It's actually it's super fun, but it's really annoyingly difficult. And I'm actually playing the right now. I'm playing the other game that's based on the 2008 movie. It is bad.
What 2008 movie?
The one that no one remembers.
Dark Knight?
No, the 2008 Hulk movie.
The one with Eric Bana, right?
Yeah, that one.
Is it the one with Lou Ferrigno?
The sequel with Eric Bana to the first one that also had Eric Bana.
No, is it the one with Lou Ferrigno, though? That might be the one that I'm thinking.
Yeah, Lou Ferrigno has a brief cameo appearance in it.
As the Hulk.
As a security guard.
As the Hulk.
The joke is that he's a security guard. But anyway, this game is, basically functionally the
1
same
second,
as Hulk Ultimate Destruction, but just everything's worse. Like every cool thing about Ultimate Destruction is just not in here. It's just so fucking ugly to look at, and it's so not fun to play. Like graphically, I think it looks worse than the game that came out 3 years before it on a different generation of console. Just because at least like the other one had like an art style. This one is just like everything looks vaguely like barf and concrete. And the Hulk is so grossly muscular that I don't want to look at his body. Like, he doesn't look like just a tough guy. He looks like a weird, gross, like, monster that has too much muscles.
Does it give you uncomfortable feelings? Does it make you think about stuff in a different way?
It's not making me like want to go look up special pictures of the Hulk on Google, if that's what you're implying.
Oh yeah, I'm sure that's not what it does. We trust you. I mean, if you were wanting to look up those kind of pictures, it'd be totally understandable for a boy your age. There's nothing to be wrong about those sort of urges.
Stop it, Dad! I'm not gay. I like
She
She-Hulk, okay? Only look up hentai of girl characters. Stop embarrassing me.
That's great.
You're uninvited to my birthday.
So how many times have you said that now?
I don't know. It's become the new catchphrase.
If it's been an even number, then it cancels itself out. You're uninvited to my birthday.
How many? Or do you mean how many times have I said it to you specifically?
Yes.
Oh, then a lot.
I didn't know you said it to anybody else.
No, I've been saying it to a lot of things.
Are you telling me that I'm not special?
Well, I mean, yeah, you watch Blade Runner, right? That's yeah. That's the whole message of the movie is, hey kids, you're not special.
Spoilers.
This game is like the worst. Like, I don't want to play this all the way through to review it. It's just bad.
Can you make funny jokes about it?
I mean, in order to do that, I'd have to play more of it, and I kind of don't want to do that because it's like...
Could you make jokes about it, though? Because people like having reviewers in pain on the internet.
I could probably make some jokes about it, yeah. I don't know if I want to, because that means I have to play this whole thing through, like, twice.
You reviewed the Spider-Man 3 game, right? Can't be any worse than that.
It's kind of on par. I'm gonna be honest.
How's the facial animations?
Really... Okay, they're just lazy, not gross and weird looking. It's not Uncanny Valley, it just looks like bad video game graphics, you know?
Oh, neato.
While I was with the Spider-Man 3, it's just like hideous and you don't want to look at it for more than a few seconds at a time. Here it's just kind of like everyone looks a little stiff, like they only animated it enough that like they couldn't get called out for not animating it at all, like From Software. I just had an interesting
do you like the new software From Software?
Yeah, it's a great name. But I just had this interesting thing where I picked up an enemy and held him over my head, and then I couldn't figure out how to throw him, so I was just kind of carrying him around and hitting people with him for like several seconds. And it was really awkward.
So you're playing some software from Software?
No. Those people make Dark Souls and Bloodborne. You ever played Dark Souls?
Those are bad games, right?
It's basically the Dark Souls of Dark Souls.
It's the Evangelion of anime.
You know, this combat is also really bad because you know what the Hulk should never feel like in a video game?
The Punisher?
He should never feel weak. I'm punching dudes and feeling like it isn't doing much. And that's fucking terrible. Like, How can you screw up the most important thing is feeling powerful? Yeah, because like you know, Josh, he's studying game design. He'll complain about how
Who's
games
Juice?
should feel. He's that one guy. He'll talk about game design.
Has he been in any of your videos?
He was in that Couch Potatoes episode that never came out because you fucking won't edit them.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I don't remember it.
You know, he's been in like more Couch Potatoes episodes than there are episodes of just you and me. It's just that
I still don't remember him.
That none of them have been released. We have like, how many of those do we have like recorded that we haven't uploaded?
Let me look.
Let's go see how big the backlog of Couch Potatoes has gotten at this point.
Okay, so I am editing Point Break right now, and then there's Battle Royale, Akira and Old Boy, so that's 3. Let's see, the Hell themed one, that's 4. Kingsman and Kick-Ass, that's 5. Godzilla and Army Man, that's 6. They Live, that's 7.
7?
Yeah.
Didn't Josh also have one?
That is... I counted that one, I think.
I think he had the footage for one that he was going to try to figure out how to edit, but he didn't have like a program for it. And also he Josh, so he never like actually finishes things.
Let's see.
I remember him telling me he had plans to start a YouTube channel.
So here's the ones I have. I have Battle Royale, Akira and Old Boy, Dark City, Fight Club, Hell, Kingsman and Kick-Ass, Neon Demon, Open Windows, Point Break, RoboCop, Simpsons, Shin Godzilla, They Live, Valerian. And we have released Valerian, Simpsons, RoboCop, Open Windows, Neon Demon, and there's Spectral, but I have that under a different thing.
We also had Alien Covenant.
No, we don't. That's not canon.
Well, no, like, it's not canon to the other thing, but it's canon to our thing.
No, it's not canon to the other Couch Potatoes.
Because it was on my channel?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I think Couch Potatoes is awesome, and I wish we could record more episodes of it, but like, why does it take so long to edit them, man?
You try sifting through the shit that you say and trying to make something usable out of it.
I do that literally every day. Maybe it's just it's easier for me to find myself entertaining than you. Like, you think I'm an annoying asshole, so you're trying to figure out what to use for the video, while as I just use everything.
That's one way of thinking about it.
Like, you're just so tired of my shit.
Mm-hmm. I only use you for the views.
Oh, yeah. So
VIEWZ.
The Vooz.
Views.
Views. VYOOZ.
Views.
I can't tell if my health automatically regenerates in this Hulk game or not. I've just been kind of jumping around the city.
You automatically regenerate in this Hulk game.
Okay. Is that like a penis joke?
No.
So, our good pal Diego, he sent me an autograph from Matt from Two Best Friends Play, because he met him at a fan meetup thing in New York, which is super cool.
What kind of nerds live in New York?
Diego.
He's a nerd.
The other guy's Canadian and from like Montreal, but he got an autograph for me, and he actually mailed it to me, because he knew I was like a super gigantic ultra Two Best Friends Play fan. Like, I've been watching those guys since their Duke Nukem video from like 2011, and
nerd.
It got in the mail like a couple of days ago, but I just like, I guess I wasn't home when they tried to deliver it, so it was like sitting at the post office. So I was like driving around with my dad to go like drive him to go get lunch, And I was like, hey, we could just go stop at the post office so I could pay the postage and get this thing, right? So I do that, and I get it, and I sit down in the car, and I open up the envelope, and there's this giant picture of a very large dick, and it's like the balls are really hairy, and it's got like veins on it, and it's uncircumcised, so it's got like it's just the works. Like he really went for it, right? And he said there was a little note next to it that says, this envelope is a little bit too big, so here's a picture of an uncircumcised dick and asshole. And I didn't even realize there was a picture of an asshole in the corner until afterwards. I glanced over at that. It wasn't quite as impressive as the dick drawing. And my dad was sitting right next to me the whole time, and he said, hey, that looks like the things I used to draw in that looks like the things I used to draw in middle school. And I was like, oh, thank God, that went the best way it possibly could. And I threw it in the back seat because I didn't want to look at it any longer. And then I pulled out the autograph, and I was really excited.
So I'm halfway watching Power Rangers, the 2017 movie, while you're talking, and I just noticed that the asshole brother from season 2 of Game of Thrones is Stranger Things is the main character.
Wait, the badman from season 2?
The brother of the redhead.
No, that guy's a dick.
Yeah, that's the dick from season 2, and he's the main character.
Did Diego draw him? I threw it out immediately because I didn't want my sister to see the drawing, and I was really glad she wasn't present, my little 10-year-old sister. So I threw the drawing in the dumpster, like, near my house, but I made sure to take a picture of it so I could memorialize the trauma. And then also send it to you because I wanted you to see it too.
You've got some real great fans, don't you?
He's your fan too, bitch. Don't try to hide it.
Well, at least I don't make as many dick jokes in my videos as you do.
I mean, you also don't make as many videos as I do.
Well, counting the podcasts, I actually make more.
No? What are you... Wait, what are you doing here? You trying to call me a liar? Sir, I'll have you know, podcasts don't count as real videos. They're podcasts. You don't have to really do much work for it. You just talk a whole bunch. Are you still watching Power Rangers?
Yes.
Is it good?
Well, so far it's very generic.
I mean, I expected that. Do you think it would have been better if Max Landis wrote it?
Depends. Is it going to be a racial allegory for racism? Because if it isn't,
the
then
Black
it's gonna
Power
be okay.
Ranger is the one that is the most oppressed and misunderstood. And the White Ranger is the evil one. That's what would happen if Gabby.
Okay.
That's what would happen if Gabby Rivera wrote this one.
Okay, so I have a pitch for the. You might have seen this on Twitter, but I want to expand this in more detail. So you and I are going to be. You're going to be my screenwriting partner for this. You don't have a choice.
Oh.
We are going to pitch to Fox Searchlight a inspired sequel to a spiritual successor to Shape of Water.
Oh no.
Called The Shape of Wax.
What the fuck did I just get myself into? I had no idea this was a thing, nor did I know there was any kind of build-up. You just dropped this on me just now. I'm on board, but I had no idea this existed until just now.
Do you want to guess who the monster creature in Shape of Wax is?
I I don't know. Who is it? Alright, I feel like you're typing.
What creature creates wax?
I don't know.
Beeswax. Bees. So the creature is going to be a bee.
It's going to be Nick Cage?
No, it's going to be Barry B. Benson. What are you talking about?
I was not ready for this lie. This great lie.
So this is what what we're going to pitch to Fox Searchlight. A adult themed, sexually infused romance between Barry B. Benson.
Oh my god. Barry B.
And
Benson.
Vanessa, played by Renee Zellweger.
Again, but this time in live action?
Yeah.
So will there be a guy... Will we have Andy Serkis play a CGI bee?
We're gonna have Jerry Seinfeld play a CGI bee.
Like, he'll do the motion capture?
Yes.
That
You
sounds
like jazz?
You like jazz?
You like jazz?
Mom, Dad, I'm supposed to play some kind of teenager even though I'm actually like a 65-year-old man. What's the deal with airline food?
So you want to make this
has
movie?
A very obvious and shoehorned environmental message, and no one's going to care about it until several years later when the script becomes a meme.
Mm-hmm.
What's the deal?
Mm-hmm. So that's going to happen. Are you okay?
No.
Do you are you on board with this?
Oh, no, I'm not at all, but I guess we're going to have to keep going. It's not like
Because I've already called up the people at Fox Searchlight, and they're going to finance it, so...
Oh, you've already secured funding.
Yeah.
This is not how you do an elevator pitch, man. You're supposed to wait until I'm in a good mood. Actually, you know what? You did.
What?
You did wait until I was in a good mood. Because Matt
Why are
from
you
Two
in a
Best
good
Friends
mood?
Play... Matt from Two Best Friends Play, like my YouTube hero and idol, followed me on Twitter.
Nice.
You waited until I was in like a state of euphoria to drop this on me so that I would not fight back as hard. You got me, you manipulative son of a gun. And
this
now
was a
I'm on board
completely
for it.
coincidental manipulation, so it's not on purpose.
Oh, okay. Well, I mean, you're still an awful person for this idea, but like less so. You know? Is that fair? Is that fair?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, all right. I want us to be on the same page.
Oh boy, I love the cliche that they have in Power Rangers that you're gonna cut your hair and somehow and that represents a life change. Divergent. And apparently, despite the fact that you just have like scissors and 5 minutes,
his hair is like perfectly styled on the other end.
Exactly.
I hate watching people fucking cut their hair in movies because everyone would screw it up so bad.
Yeah. It's great.
Like, okay, Shane in Walking Dead shaves his head. There's not really a lot of ways you can fuck that up. You just keep shaving until it's gone, right? That's fine. But like, I don't know about like the guy from like Blue Ruin who looks like a hobo for the first 20 minutes getting that haircut. Like he shaves off his beard and cuts his hair in like a gas station bathroom or some shit, and he looks like totally fine all of a sudden. I don't buy it. I'm not on board for this. I don't buy into this new lore.
So I think that Power Rangers made a lot of fun details because did a lot of fun stuff because it was like they said that the black character is also like on the autism spectrum, so inclusivity there because he's a double diversity hire. And I think
they should have made him Jewish just so you could have even more.
Well, they have even more because they have an Asian, and they have like a Hispanic lady who's also discovering that she's not quite into the dudes, if you know what I'm saying.
Oh, she's into the to the girl dudes.
Yeah.
Into the whoa mans.
Whoa, man.
Whoa, man. That's what I say whenever I see a whoa man.
Mm-hmm. So I'm going to do a list of movies that take place in the Pacific Northwest. And I'm going to ask, what's wrong with movies that take place in the Pacific Northwest? Because, like, Power Rangers, 50 Shades of Grey, Twilight,
it's just a
Sleepless
bad part
in Seattle.
of the country. It's just a cursed part of the earth.
It's called seasonal depression, the country.
If you ever wanted to just be sad, move to Maine.
That's in the Atlantic Northeast.
I know.
That's the opposite side of the country.
I know. It's the other bad place. You got
Portland,
yeah. Well,
Oregon, if you
and you got Maine.
Well, if you're going to Oregon or Washington, because all those movies take place in Washington, because Oregon's the not cool one.
Maybe Seattle also has a little bit.
No, Seattle is literally where Sleepless in Seattle is set, and the 50 Shades movies. And, like...
I don't know why, but I associate Seattle with suicide. Did, like, a lot of people die there, or is it just because I always see the Sky Needle and think, finally, I have a good enough spot to jump from?
Oh, and I forgot another movie that takes place in Seattle. Do you want to know what it is?
Sleepless in Seattle?
No. Death Note.
Oh, Death Note. Death Note's fantastic.
The whitewashing movie that's totally the worst thing that happened there.
Oh. Oh, of all the bad things to happen in the whole western half of the country, Death Note is the worst.
Death Note is the Holocaust of the Pacific Northwest.
Oh.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's because of all those tree octopi they have there, right?
Yeah. Wait, what?
You remember the internet hoax about tree octopuses? Or octopi? Or octopeople?
Is that a thing? I didn't hear about this at all.
That was like a real early internet hoax.
Oh, no. Like in the 90s?
Like in the mid-2000s. It was like a proto meme.
Oh, like that dancing CGI child.
Yeah.
There was a GIF of... I say GIF sometimes and GIFs other times. Because I want to be inclusive.
I love how everybody in this forest, everybody important and mildly attractive from this one detention in this one particular high school is all at this one mine at this one night because plot.
Yeah, so I'm gonna call bullshit on any movie where it's like the characters just meet up because they were all in detention together, and that's how you get this cast of characters that would never hang out otherwise. That's so overdone.
But also, they're all in this one forest at night when they discover the Power Rangers things. Because reasons. Real bad green screen right now.
Oh, that was to be expected.
Rita Repulsa has not yet shown up, and I want to see...
what about Goldar? He's not the right shade of gold, so this movie is betraying Power Rangers lore.
Yeah. So you actually watched Power Rangers as a kid. I did not. Tell me about it. What's it like?
Well, I didn't actually watch the classic, original Power Rangers, as a kid.
Mm-hmm.
I watched, one of the spin-off shows. I can't remember which ones. One of them was the one where they time travel a lot. The other one was the one where they had like this umbrella pattern on their chests, and their helmets had like much bigger visors, like no mouthpiece. It was more like motorcycle helmets. And I remember specifically the Red Ranger's name in that one was Carter. But basically what I know about Power Rangers is that it's like everything I don't like about anime, but presented via live action. So characters are constantly like flailing their fucking limbs around like psychos, and they narrate everything that's happening as it's happening, as if the audience is too stupid not to see it themselves. Because I think they have like this hidden assumption that the audience is all a bunch of 3-year-olds and have no like perception. So I said this when I was 8 years old. I actually went on like a whole rant, and I got into a huge argument with my cousin AJ. Because, like, we used to really love Power Rangers, but then at one point I just started, like, not liking it. I just kind of snapped out of it, and I was like, how come every time something happens they have to talk about it? Like, if a building explodes, a guy will say, whoa, that building just exploded. Like, we know. And this was, like, the highest tier of, like, comprehension I had ever
that
achieved.
was a very... Well, one of the main characters just fell off a cliff during a bunch of rubble, and then she survived very easily.
Are you watching it with subtitles?
Yes,
okay.
But I'm not really listening. I'm not really reading half of them because I'm listening to your conversation right now.
Okay. So I remember.
So we've got the Asian, the black, the Hispanic lesbian, and we've got the one straight white guy.
We gotta have one straight white guy.
I call it the Star Trek rule.
You gotta have
because
one
in every Star Trek
team.
show, they had one straight white guy, or that would be like the one like, oh, this is what we think straight white guys in their 20s want to see as like a self-insert, right? And it was always the most boring character. Like Tom Paris in Voyager, he's a little bit more interesting because he's like a rebel with some issues. And then there's
there's Captain Kirk.
Captain Kirk is before the formula because that was basically mostly white guys. I'm talking about, it started with Next Generation with Riker.
Yeah, Riker, like, all he does is just be a straight white guy.
And then there's Tom Paris in Voyager, and there's...
Do you remember that episode of TNG where they just did a clip show of all the times Riker got laid while he was being infected with a space virus? And they had to keep flashing back to all of his various sex scenes throughout the series so that he would, not die. That was terrible. I'm like mad that I watched that one.
So then I'm telling you that this is what I'm gonna predict it, that in this era of multicultural diversity, all that stuff with the WOMS directors and all that.
Dad, I really like your memes. They're funny.
There's going to be the straight white male token.
I kind of think it's funny now where it's like
Chris Pine has made a career out of being a token straight white guy.
Chris Pine is the perfect token straight white guy for your diverse cast of characters.
Wrinkle in Time, Wonder Woman.
It's his job now.
It's a living. It pays better than being the not gay.
Does this man have a case of the not gays that must be treated?
Immediately.
A severe case of the not gays.
Okay, so I'm kind of liking this bit that they have in Power Rangers, which is a car chase in a mine with a minivan. I only like it because it's a car chase involving a minivan, and that is just inherently silly to me, and I love it.
You know what? There's never been a car chase involving a PT Cruiser, and I feel like that's a really big missed opportunity.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so speaking of the diversity hire, what do you think of Ava DuVernay being hired to direct the The New Gods movie for DC.
Wow, dude, you're going for it. You're pissing some people off. I like it.
I actually think that Ava DuVernay is a good director, though.
I have no idea what this New Gods movie is, and I haven't heard about it until like today when it said that lady was gonna direct it.
That's the only news I heard about it.
So what is it about? Is it about like Darkseid and Steppenwolf and like Apocalypse?
Yeah,
or...
yeah. It's about like the two planets of like Apocalypse and the other one.
I think I know what the name is, but I'm like worried that I'm gonna be wrong if I say what it is. I think it's called New Eden.
I think you might be right.
Let me look it up. Oh my god.
It's a Jack Kirby creation, and do you want to know why I'm okay with her directing it?
Why?
One very simple thing. Okay?
Alright.
Are you listening?
Yes.
Somebody asked her on Twitter what her favorite character was, and she had an answer.
What?
It was like Big, like Bertha or something.
Big Barda?
Like I forget. Big Barda.
Big Barda's awesome.
She said that's her favorite character.
Big Barda's
and it's
fucking
like,
rad. You know why Big Barda's awesome?
Why?
'Cause she's like better than Wonder Woman. Like she's tougher, and she's like she's dating or she's married to Mr. Miracle. Mr. Miracle is like one of my favorite DC characters. I started reading the Jack Kirby run of him, and like
that's basically what it's based off of.
I want Mr. Miracle in this movie. He is so cool.
So basically, I think it's real cool that she's already been reading the comics before like the movie. So I'm like, you know what? That's pretty cool.
I'll allow it.
I'll allow it.
You know what? I'm gonna make an assumption
we
right
made
now.
We made it to the one superfluous white straight male shirtless scene in a superhero movie.
Those happen always. There's always the white straight male has to take his shirt off for one scene.
Show off his abs.
Show off his ripped, shredded, ultra abs. His Chris Hemsworth Pinesworths. His Chris Pines.
Chris Pines Evansworth.
His Chris Pines Evansworth's McFarlane. But anyway, let me look up the name of that planet because I'm worried it's gonna be wrong.
So all I'm saying is
New Genesis. That's what it's called. God damn it! I have to turn in my nerd card. I screwed it up.
So if I think that
close.
Also a lot of people are hating on A Wrinkle in Time, but I didn't think it was that bad.
I mean, I didn't know it existed until you showed me the trailer, and I just started blanking out as soon as I saw the giant CGI hologram Oprah. I was like, oh, it's one of those movies. You know, movies that have Oprah. It was one of those movies.
Yep, and it is the it's another diversity card because she is the Ava DuVernay or whatever, however she says it, is the first black female director to create a movie with costs over $100 million to make.
Okay. You know, these like get less impressive every time we do them. You know, these like big milestones for diversity. Because it's like, okay, we got like first black director. That's cool. We got like first black superhero movie. All right, yeah. There's a very big gap between those, mind you. You know, now it's first black female director to direct a movie that made this amount of budget with this amount of profit. It has so many quantifiers that it's like were we even like desperate to have someone fulfill that quota of a thing existing?
Okay, so the next thing we need to have the diversity is a female director to win Best Director. Although I do think it was cool that at the Oscars this year, the DP of Black Panther, who did another movie, was nominated for best cinematography, and she was the first woman to ever be nominated in that category.
Okay. All right, so that's cool. Yeah, first nominated woman for cinematography. Now, I'm expecting we're gonna eventually get to first Asian woman director to also be nominated for best screenplay. That also had a movie with a budget over $200,000. Like we're gonna get to that point where we're like, this is a huge milestone because that is the thing that she is. That to me is not it's not special. Like, am I splitting hairs here? Am I being an asshole?
Well, I think it's a good thing that we're going to come to that point eventually.
No, I mean I think it's good that we're getting there, but I'm like a little bit annoyed at the fact that we're gonna be sensationalizing it still when it's at the point where it's no longer really even worth it.
I think it's going to be good that we'll come to that point eventually.
No one gives a shit about the ninth man who walked on the moon.
Then that, yeah.
You know?
The ninth black female lesbian director to direct a movie that costs over $10 million to make and stars an Academy Award nominated actor.
That's also Hispanic.
Yes.
Yes. Like, we'll get there, and I'm sure there will be people getting really excited about that on Twitter. You know? Like,
well, listen, as long as you don't judge me for getting really excited about Luc Besson movies, I don't care what you get excited about either.
I don't judge you for liking Luc Besson movies.
Valerian was good, okay? I'm the one person in the world who liked it.
I don't dislike Valerian, nor have I ever said anything really bad about it. It's just like, I don't know. It just I just kind of forgot it existed. Like, a lot of people like seem to really have hated it, and like went all mad about it for having sexism, I guess.
I just kind of love people complaining about The Last Jedi for being super political when I think about
I mean, it's literally an allegory for World War II in space.
Valerian. Because Valerian is basically white guilt, the space opera. It's basically one big extended metaphor for, since the director's French, of the whole French occupation of North Africa and all that.
I don't really have an opinion on Valerian because I didn't read the comic, nor did I really absorb a lot of the movie. I just remember there was like 5 or 6 really cool things that I liked, and then a lot of other stuff in between that I just kind of like put out of my brain.
Oh boy, all these these climbing effects in Power Rangers do not look good.
Wait, are they like doing like dumb kung fu parkour flips up the side of a mountain?
We've come to the new characters are experimenting with the powers they've just discovered thing.
I kind of am bored with that part of movies now because like we always see like that.
Can't you
scene.
just handle it with a montage and just get it over with real quickly?
I feel like the good movie Ant-Man did that and it worked great. You only saw him struggle to learn his powers for like one scene, and then after that, it was like a kick-ass montage of him getting good at it.
These effects don't look good.
And then Ant-Man was like the best at his powers, and you didn't even have to worry about it anymore. Because like I understand you got to show the progression. It's lame if they just get their powers and they're just awesome with them right away. But at the same, like you got to calibrate it. You can't spend too long showing them learning how to do it because then there's like not a whole lot happening. It's just, you know, the movie's kind of stalled.
Well, you gotta pad time until the villain shows up.
Yeah. That's another thing about superhero movies. They always have like the origin story for like the first like act and maybe the half of the second act, and then it becomes like a totally different movie once the villain has showed up.
That's the problem with the superhero origin story as a concept, is that you can't.
Yeah.
It's like it's basic. It's kind of hard to have a through line.
Yeah, it's one half of the movie is, hey, I'm becoming Spider-Man, and then the second
So
half
that's
of the
why-
movie is, hey, I gotta fight Green Goblin. Like, it's... I feel like Sam Raimi did it well enough where it was like both were happening in unison well enough that you were kind of like waiting for the final big showdown, you know? But other movies... What's a really good example of one where they fucked it up? Amazing Spider-Man 1. The lizard becomes the lizard like way late after Spider-Man has his powers.
Another great cliche in the Power Rangers movie. The fake out where they think one of the characters has fallen down a cavern, and then turns out he didn't. Fallen down like a giant thing and died.
That's
They've
cool.
got all the superhero movie cliches and other movie cliches too.
So I remember there was a scene in the trailer where the black guy glows black, and that
because he's the
doesn't,
Black Ranger.
that doesn't make sense.
Because they couldn't make the Black Ranger the Black Ranger. They couldn't make the Black Ranger the black guy because that'd be racist.
That's what the old show did.
So they make the Yellow Ranger the Hispanic one, and the Black Ranger the Asian one. Yeah, I'm at that scene right now.
How do you glow black? That kind of doesn't make sense.
Because the power coins glow.
No, but like, what does that look like? That would look like a shadow. How does
I'll
something
tell you when I
glow
see it.
black? Black is not a type of light. Like, what? Like, that's impossible.
Well, it's just like darker than the water around it with light in there. It's weird. It's more like very, very dark gray.
Okay. Maybe you could say glowing gray, which even then is kind of hard to picture.
I only deal in black and sometimes very, very dark gray. I'm sorry, I was referencing a good movie. But wait, they're not glowing when they're swimming underwater.
Wouldn't that be really helpful, though? Because it's hard to see underwater?
And wouldn't that be a really cool visual effect?
Yeah?
Yeah, it's just kind of fun to see that the huge dick from Stranger Things season 2, because he's just like a really generic, boring lead actorman in this movie.
I actually kind of liked his character in Stranger Things season 2. Like, he was just
You liked to hate him.
You like to hate him, yeah. Like, he was just such an asshole that, like, you were excited that he would die, and then he didn't, and you're like, aw. Maybe next time. We'll get him next time. Mission scrub. Go home, kids.
They're surprisingly, all these Power Rangers are very good at holding their breath.
Well, people in movies can hold their breath for like an inordinate amount of time. It's kind of upsetting.
Unless you're Tom Cruise, I don't buy it. So when you're talking about the Pacific Northwest, there's basically Vancouver in British Columbia, which is stand-in for other cities. There's Seattle, which is crappy movies, and then there's those hipsters down in Portland. or Oregon is like the cautiously realistic to Washington's Godzilla Mendoza.
I really like that. That's pretty good.
You know, the friend that's a little bit nerdier, a little bit quirkier, not quite as successful or well known, and probably better.
I mean, I don't think I'm better.
I think I'm better.
I think I'm just
You're the popular one.
I'm more of a digestible type of terrible. You know, like I'm like Transformers. I'm just awful, but in like a way that's easily marketable. You're more
Hey,
like.
did you see was it Dan Olson live tweeting watching Transformers 5?
Oh, did he get any further into that? I saw him do some kind of thing where he's like, "Why are all the
He talked-
Decepticons black?"
He also talked about how how it's kind of weird when the movie basically switched between aspect ratios between shots in the same scene for no reason.
Oh yeah, I was noticing that when I was watching it. There was this action scene where Mark Wahlberg is running around like getting chased by a drone in like an apartment building, and it gets so like stupid because it's like he like grabs onto it and it flies him around and he doesn't fall off and die like 20 stories in the air.
Continuity, what's that?
But from one shot to a next, it would like go from like full screen to widescreen, and it would be like different types of widescreen. So there would be like a little bit of letterboxing to like a ton of letterboxing, and it was like really jarring, and it was making my eyes hurt. And I only noticed it in that scene, and I was like, what is that? Like it didn't occur to me at the time that maybe they were using different types of cameras. I thought it was like some kind of stupid art thing that Michael Bay was trying to do.
It's called just being lazy.
Yeah. It is.
That's not an art thing, that's a Michael Bay thing.
You could just crop all of the shots to look like that, like for the whole movie. You know, that would probably like fix it.
I think that everybody except for the guys at even the guys at ILM are just in it for the paychecks at this point.
Man, being a Hollywood animator that's like really good at making robots must be like the most amazing job ever. You know?
Making the movies is just a formality at this point. They're just handing out paychecks at random. You can tell. I think you can tell with Transformers 5 that Michael Bay just did not give a crap. Like even more than Transformers 4, he just could not give a shit.
I remember like being really confused in Transformers 5.
Transformers 4 was the one where he said it was going to be his last one, and then Transformers 5 now he says it's going to be his last one. I think with Transformers 4 he didn't like it, but he still worked at it. But then then Paramount was like, Michael Bay, we will give you even more of the monies. And then...
Well, I mean, he's not an artist. If they offer him more money, he's gonna go for it.
Yeah.
You know? That's kind of his deal.
But now he's gonna direct Robopocalypse instead.
What? What's that?
Robopocalypse.
What is that about?
What do you think a Robopocalypse is about?
Is it related to Transformers, or is it just like a...
It's think like iRobot type thing.
So, more like Terminator.
Yeah.
Is the title actually Robopocalypse?
Yeah, it's the title of the book.
That's a fucking terrible title. That sounds like a fake movie from, like, another movie. Like, that sounds like something Bart likes on The Simpsons.
It was going to be directed by Steven Spielberg, but he lost interest, like, in 2011. So it's been in development. It's been in
development hell for that long? Probably for a good reason.
Uh-huh.
Oh my god, this sounds like a fake movie. Like imagine in the Bart Simpson voice going, Whoa! The new trailer for Robopocalypse is out. Are you excited, Dad? And then Homer's like making jokes about the robots.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like you can hear it in your brain,
Mm-hmm.
right? It's Jesus. Why do they do this? Oh, that's very upsetting.
Mm-hmm. Wait, what? That sounds really cruel. Okay, so in this Power Rangers movie, Zordon is like an old Power Ranger.
That sounds
That he was
awesome.
he was fighting on Earth, like in like the prehistoric era.
I like that way better than he's just a space wizard head.
And then he was killed by Rita Repulsa, and now the Alpha 5 robot downloaded him into the ship.
Is Alpha 5
That sounds-
just as annoying and fucking obnoxious? Does he go,
Well, I
ay,
can't-
ay, ay?
I can't
Hello,
hear him because I've got it
Rangers.
on. I can't hear it because it's got it on mute, but he is voiced by Bill Hader.
Oh,
so
Bill Hader could totally do that voice.
Mhm.
He totally is.
So Bill Hader is probably different to everybody else than he is to me, because Bill Hader, you might think of him on SNL or him as the romantic lead opposite Amy Schumer in Trainwreck. But I think of him as his character in The Skeleton Twins.
You know,
Have you seen that?
no, I have
Have
not.
you seen this? Okay, so it's basically a movie with Kristen Wiig, where Kristen Wiig and Bill Hader play brother and sister.
I think he's gay
And-
and she tries to kill herself.
Well, he's gay, and it starts out the movie with him trying to kill himself, and then he turned on the music really loud, so his neighbor complains about it and is like, oh shit, you're trying to kill yourself, that's bad. And then he goes back to live with his sister for a couple of weeks to recover and be less not terrible, and cure the depression and all that. And it's all about broken dreams and living and not getting everything you want. And also Kristen Wiig cheats on her husband.
Huh.
It's super depressing and dark, but it also has two comedians in it that riff off each other, and they're really funny. But it's also super depressing because the movie starts with Bill Hader trying to kill himself and ends with ends with Kristen Wiig trying to kill herself. And then it also features Kristen Wiig taking contraceptives while her husband is trying to get pregnant with him. With her. Sorry, I've got my attention split.
Yeah, you're still processing the Power Rangers.
Yeah. So
You know, when I heard that there would be a fully nude scene with Kristen Wiig in her movie Welcome to
I
Me,
wasn't done.
I wasn't expecting it to be so weird and uncomfortable and sad.
I wasn't done. The other thing that's super depressing and dark that the Skeleton Twins features is Bill Hader reigniting a relationship that he had with his high school English teacher when he was underage, and it doesn't shy away from how creepy that was.
Okay.
And he's married to a Woms. So it's creepy and manipulative, and it doesn't shy away from that. And it's super disturbing, and it's super sad, but there's comedians as the main characters, so it's also kind of funny. It's got funny stuff, but it's not a funny movie. So that's what I think of when I think of Bill Hader, and he's always in these comedic roles, and I just think oh yeah, you're that gay guy who tried to kill himself.
Oh, I think Bill
And then,
Hader should be in more stuff. I think he's actually a very charismatic actor, and
He is a good actor.
I hate how he gets mostly typecast as just the guy who does funny, goofy voices and acts really.
So question. What do you think of Kristen Wiig as the villain of Wonder Woman 2?
I have no idea what to think of that, because I know she can pull off a dramatic role, but, like, it's supposed to be a sexy cheetah woman who's, like, super ripped and is...
Are you saying that that Kristen Wiig isn't sexy?
She is, but not as a furry.
What if she does mocap the whole time?
Then get someone like Rebecca Romaine, who's, like, better at, like, also doing, like, stunts.
Stunt doubles. I'm not really surprised.
I don't
because...
know. I just feel like there could be better choices. I'm
Okay, so
confused.
here's the thing. I'm not surprised because Wonder Woman 1, the villain wasn't the strongest part of that movie. So given that, I'm not surprised that Wonder Woman 2, the villain, isn't the strongest part of that movie. Okay, so they're doing a thing in the Power Rangers where Rita Repulsa secretly was a Power Ranger but went evil.
I'm fine with that.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I mean, I don't care about Power Rangers. Here's the thing. I'm probably gonna sound like the biggest hypocritical asshole in the history of the universe. And,
well, you already sound like that, so it's not anything
people are gonna
different.
throw it in my face super hard about all the things that I liked as a kid that I still kind of.
Well, they would, but
champion.
you won't. But nobody watches this, so
Yeah, but I don't think Power Rangers is worth the attention or the reverence it has. It's I don't know why it has this like love for it today by a lot of grown adults. Like, I get it, it's a cool show when you're a kid, because I was into it. I liked it.
Well, then again,
I liked it when I was like a little kid, and I would play games with my cousins. My cousin Sabrina would be the Pink Ranger. My cousin Alejandro would be the
Gonzalez Iñárritu.
Yeah, he'd be the Blue Ranger.
Because the Pink Ranger is the girl.
Well, yeah.
I think you can tell that this show.
Yellow Ranger sometimes.
I think you can tell that this show was created by an Israeli guy.
It was.
Yeah.
I mean, with the
Haim Saban.
the American half of it, anyway.
Yeah. Haim Saban created Power Rangers. And he's an Israeli guy who moved to America. He's a billionaire, and he bought back the rights from the Disney company because the Disney didn't care enough. They realized that there was absolutely no money to be made in making a Power Rangers movie.
Remember when that one guy on YouTube made a Power Rangers movie, and it was like super awesome because it was bloody and violent?
The guy who directs all the Taylor Swift music videos.
Adi Shankar?
Yeah, no. The guy, the one that got that had all the takedowns.
Oh, I don't know.
The fan film.
Yeah, no, I think that's the same guy. He did Truth and Journalism with Eddie Brock. He did Punisher, Dirty Laundry.
No. You're thinking of a different one. I'm thinking of the Joseph Kahn one.
No, I'm thinking of Adi Shankar. He was a producer on Dredd.
Nerd.
And he directed The Grey. He's super cool.
Nerd.
He also made Judge Dredd's Super Fiend, which is an animated series on YouTube, which is kind of bizarre. But it's almost like imagine Judge Dredd mixed with Invader Zim. But that guy's cool, and he did a Power Rangers fan film just because like there was word that there was going to be a live action Power Rangers coming up, and before even like they had like a trailer ready or anything, he had his like 20-minute short film thing ready, and it's full of like violence and action and like sci-fi, and it's got like James Van Der Beek and a couple of other like actual.
No, what you're thinking of the one is the one directed by Joseph Kahn.
It was.
I think.
I think he wrote it, not directed it, but it was definitely on his channel.
It says, no, Adi Shankar presents a Mighty Morphin Power Rangers fan film by Joseph Kahn.
Yeah, that's what it was.
So Joseph Kahn directed it. He's the guy who directs all the Taylor Swift music videos.
Yeah, but who wrote it?
I don't know.
Oh.
It doesn't say. I could go to the end to see if there's any credits. There's too many credits, that's the problem.
But anyway, it was cool, and it was better than the Power Rangers movie you're watching right now.
I mean, it has less superhero movie cliches.
Yeah. Well, do you think that's good enough for this week's podcast?
What do you guys think?
What do you guys think? Vote in the comments if you think that was a long enough podcast. All right, bye.
Bye.